Good afternoon, and welcome to Midday with Lord Don. I am Reverend Tim Straube, and this is.
Reverend Diana Straube.
And here in Buffalo, New York, we are representing the Temple of Holistic Knowledge for this session of Midday. Today's topic, we'd like to talk about golems. We recently had a class and a gathering where we made golems out of clay, and we fashioned them any sort of way that we wanted to, and for whatever purpose that we were desiring to use them for. Hello, Janet Clan. Welcome. We read a little bit about what a golem is and the traditional way of making one, what it's used for.
Well, golems are, there's different views on what a golem is. It can be ambient. One view is that it's ambient energy created from our energy. Then some think that it may or may become a soul in its own right. They can be created for a number of purposes, as protection. You can create a golem to find something for you. We were on a 3-week trip to Ireland, and we both created golems before we left. And I can't remember whose golem was responsible for protecting us, and the other golem was responsible for protecting the house and our animals while we were gone. We divvied it up. But golems are thought forms, and they're really a great way of magically way of protecting, for finding. There's multiple purposes that you can use a golem for.
So what's the process of creating one?
Well, the way that's in the second degree book, which is the first time that I created a golem, was when I was studying second degree, is that you could take a statue or a picture, or you can even use your own imagination and create your own golem. I think somebody in our temple uses, I don't know if it's a statue or just the thought of a Viking warrior. And then you would have energy, white light energy coming up from the ground and infusing, surrounding the image or the statue or your thought, your imagination. And then you would have white light coming down from above and again, encircling, infusing the object, and have those energies mingled. And you would, you would tell the golem what you're creating it for. You can create it for a specific purpose, and then tell it that it's done when that purpose has been fulfilled. Or you can create one that you keep around, but you have to remember to make offerings to it on a regular basis.
Keep feeding it, yes.
Yeah, you have to keep feeding it. So my first golem was Shrek. I thought if you want your golem to represent strength, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a vicious thing, but just something strong and capable. And to me, Shrek was my first golem. And this was the picture that I used, that I infused with energy.
And for me, I didn't have a picture of it. I just used a picture in my head of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well, that's what represents strength to you, Tim.
But I just want to say hello to Antonio Huerta and Magical Cloud. Thanks for joining us.
When we were doing the golem as a temple thing a couple of months, in fact, recently, my clay figure does not look very, I told Tim it doesn't look very strong. I think I like Shrek. I think I have more confidence in Shrek. and his arm fell off. I have to do some repair. We used him out of clay. We formed our golems out of clay.
But those are easy repairs to do. Since these have not been fired in a kiln, it's very easy to repair them with a little extra clay. Mix it with a little bit of water, make a little paste out of it, and it kind of makes a glue, and you can stick the arm back on again.
Right. And with our clay, we also used blessed crystals, herbs, spices, oils, and they all went into, so all of these were blessed, magically blessed, and then they all went into, so my golem has a little headpiece up there that I'm using as a hat, and I have 2 crystals for the eyes, a tiny crystal for the nose, a little crystal for the mouth, some for the buttons.
So for that, you would not want to fire it in a kiln.
No.
Because that would interrupt the anointing with the oil and certainly burn off all the herbs.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't do too well for the crystals either.
So show me, I like yours.
Mine is a little different. If you can see this guy, I carved the eyes and the mouth into his face, and of course he's got the 2 little arms and the 2 little legs and quite the body, and then he's anointed with the crystals up here as well. And he stands up fairly well by himself. And of course, he's been anointed with oils and herbs as well. And along with my golem, whom I've named Thomas in the Irish language, I also made an offering bowl out of the same clay, which also has a crystal in it. And, oops, get in there straight. A candlestick holder. It's got a little candle in it. So I can light a candle next to him as well as making offerings.
Now, recently, we just came back from a trip to Cayman Brac, and we were scuba diving there for the week. And of course, we asked our golems to protect us while we were diving, and while we were on our journey, and to protect the house. But I had a situation come up where I wear a cap which holds my mask in place better, and I wear these thick socks inside my boots, and I'm pretty sure that I had packed them for the trip. But when I got there, and we got mesh bags that we were supposed to put our dive gear in, and then the dive shop was going to come by and get our dive gear and set it up for us on the boat. But I was pretty sure that I had packed these in my suitcase to take with, and I could not find them. I could not find them anywhere. I checked the suitcases we brought. I took everything out of the mesh bag, checked the mesh bag. They were not there. So I'm not sure, the 2nd or 3rd day of diving, the mesh bag is on the boat, and I'm looking around, and there's my cap and the socks that I wear inside my boots, and they were not. I can swear they were not there. So we assume the golem helped me find the cap, and I was very thankful to have those, because it just made diving, it made my boots fit better, it made the mask fit better than what I had to use in their place. So we thank the golem for that.
But it appeared on the boat.
Yes, it's on the boat. It was not in, I swear it was not in the mesh bag when they picked the mesh bag up and took it to the boat. But it was.
It wasn't on the boat. It wasn't in the mesh bag when we first started diving either.
I didn't see it.
And we didn't bring it later.
No.
Somehow.
just all of a sudden I go.
It appeared.
It appeared. It
on
just
the
appeared.
Boat. So we attribute that to the golem finding it and presenting it to us.
One of our temple members, Deb, loves her golem, and she keeps the golem all the time and makes the regular offerings to it. And somebody else in the temple had lost something that was really important. And she said, I'll just give it to my golem to find. And it did take a little while, but then it was located. And so she just swears by her golem. She's the one who thinks of it as was it a Viking?
It's a centurion. The
Is
centurion.
it is. It's a centurion. It's not a Viking. It's a centurion.
From
A Roman centurion.
Yep.
And that's what she uses as her golem. Who else do we have to say hello to?
Kathleen.
She likes Shrek.
Quinmither. I am totally mispronouncing her last name or surname. But Kathleen, anyway, thank you for joining us.
Somebody asked, when the golem achieves a specific limited purpose, do you dismantle the clay and return it to earth or reuse it maybe after a while? Hi to all the cats. That's a good point. And I haven't decided yet how, if mine's going to be, my clay model is going to be, I just periodically keep making offerings. I put some incense in earlier. I gave it a tea bag. What did you do with yours?
I offer it sea salt because I have a little offering bowl that I made also. So I just keep my offerings in the bowl and feed him periodically. A thought form that you're not going to use a physical representation for, that definitely you would dismantle at the end of the purpose. But I would think that something that you've made permanent, such as one out of clay or a statue or a photograph, something that you're going to keep around for a while, you would keep that permanently and not recycle the clay unless you really want to. And with unfired clay, all you have to do is soak it in water and you can reform it into any other type that you want. It doesn't become permanent until it's fired in a kiln, which you would not do with any of this because of the oil and the incense that it's anointed with.
If we have a few more people joining us, I can't read that far away.
Nikki Dodd. Thank you from Tulsa.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Any other questions about golems?
Or do you have anybody have any experience with golems that you want to share? I think, of all, another one has joined us.
Jade Rising. Hello.
It was one of my favorite things in second degree was to create this thought form. My golem. And so well, you don't have to make it. That's just what we did as a temple. You can have a statue that you already have or again, a picture. It just so happened that that's what our temple did. We have temple class. Is it the second and fourth Mondays of the month? So we meet as a temple and we do ritual and we have trainings and share experiences. And we did this over a couple of classroom.
Yeah, it took us like a month and a half.
Yeah, it took about a month and a half before we finally brought the clay in and actually formed the image. And one of the couple members working on my table made this beautiful, it was a lion. It was
Yeah.
like the pose, like the Sphinx. And I just like go, oh my goodness. She did marvelous. She was very talented working with clay. As anybody who saw my Gollum can tell, I'm not talented working with clay. So you don't have to do unfired clay. There are other things and you don't even have to have an image or a statue. You can use your imagination if that helps you. Everybody's different. And that's one of the beauties of this whole thing, is that it recognizes that we're all individuals and we all come with different.
This does make it a bit more permanent so that you can keep them around all the time and utilize them for just about anything, for finding things or for protecting the house or protecting your travels. Even just say, okay, I'm going off to work this morning, keep an eye on the house until you get home. And that can just be a daily thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or just keep an eye on the cats, the pets, if you don't have cats. We have just the one cat, comes and goes. As well as thank you, Ed Hubbard. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're needed for this weekend because there's a lot of folks traveling to Philadelphia this weekend for Illustration of the Ancestors. We'll be leaving first thing in the morning until Monday. Last summer, we have an RV, and we like to go camping for the weekends. And we have some friends that we camp with. They have their own campsite, and I pull our RV with my pickup truck, and my pickup truck has a trifold cover over the bed. So you fold it up twice, and then the back of it's open. And I don't like to walk around campsite with my phone and my wallet and everything in my pockets, so I put them in the door pocket of the truck. And after a day or so, I realized that I had not locked the door of my pickup truck. And there's a lot of people walking down the street back and forth. We're kind of close to the showers and restrooms. So there's a lot of traffic flow, a lot of walking traffic flow through there. And anybody could have opened the door of my truck, seen my wallet sitting there, and absconded with it. And sure enough, it was gone. And we got home after the weekend and called all the credit card companies and canceled all my credit cards. I called the DMV and had them send me another driver's license. And then I turned to my Gollum, which is what I should have done first, and said, please help me find my wallet. And Monday went by, Tuesday went by, Wednesday was going to rain, so I didn't want the inside of my bed to get all wet from the rain. So I went to close up the bed of the truck. And as soon as I flipped that covering in order to close the bed of the truck, out flies my wallet and falls into the bed of the truck. Never put my wallet in that area. I always put it in the door of the truck. I never put it anywhere else other than in that little pocket in the driver's door. And yet it was in a very obvious place where I could find it 3 days later. So that's another story of the Gollum, just kind of tossing it where you can find it, like your dive code.
Yeah, when it's easier to know that Gollum has been working when it's to find things for you. But when you ask for it to protect you, all you can say is nothing happened bad. I mean, just it was the Gollum protecting us. So I mean, we travel quite a bit by air, and these days you can get stranded places. Air travel has become a nightmare, and so it's really important to us to pray not only that we're safe in the skies, but that we're not unduly delayed. Because I've heard of people being delayed a day or two, and we've made our connecting flights. We've gotten home at a reasonable hour, an hour or two late maybe, but nothing dramatic like some of our friends have had while traveling. So I think that if I was going to do a Gollum just for one purpose, me personally, I probably wouldn't do something. Going back to the question about the clay, I probably wouldn't put all that time into making something that I was just going to then tear apart. When I got the image of Shrek and I got then I made this clay one, my thought was that while after it served its purpose, I may thank it until it can go, but it's my intent that I'm going to ask it to come back and do something for me later. So I use the same image. That's how I deal with the Gollum.
Making it permanent.
Yeah, making it permanent, but having specific purposes along the way.
There's a metaphysical shop that we patronize quite often. I have an office there for counseling called The Rising Goddess. I hope it's okay to plug the shop. But they recently brought in cloth dolls, little puppets, which you can use those as golems as well, or make your own out of cloth, stuff them with batting and sew them. Makes it a lot more personable when you're building them with your own hands also. And then you can decorate them and anoint them whichever way you want. Different oils, or draw faces on them. Or use crystals or stuff them with crystals. You can, kind of like a spell bag, but in the shape of a doll.
Well, that's a great idea. I never thought of doing it out of cloths and stuff, but you can certainly design your own Gollum from a number of different materials. Clay's not the only one. Cloth, whatever your imagination comes with.
Sure.
As my Gollum shows, I'm not artsy craftsy kind of. I'm a musician, so that's where my talent lies. But there are some really talented people that can come up with a lot of different ideas for, and it might be something that your temple wants to talk about. What other things can you make golems from? Besides, do we have anybody? Janet?
Janet Can is inspired. She says thanks. Janet is from the U.S. Magical Cloud is from Belgium, and Kathleen, I wish we had her audio because then we could know exactly how to pronounce her name, is from Australia.
Okay.
It looks, her last name to me looks Welsh by the spelling of it.
So again, if anybody's had any experience with golems, we'd love to be able to share them.
What other kind of mediums could we use? We've made.
You could probably use wood, make some kind of a wood
carving.
A wood carving.
Wood burning set. We've made Bridget crosses out of like wicker sticks, or and even pipe cleaners. We've done
pipe cleaners. We've done that with pipe cleaners. I probably use pipe cleaners to make your images with.
Yeah. There's or even a hand drawing on a piece of paper. There's lots of different types of mediums that you can use. The thing is to infuse it with your intention, and energize that intention
Right.
to work for you.
And the secondary book at the end of chapter 3, if you've got it, he does. Lord Don does have a couple of prayers in there that you can. They're just examples of the things that you can say to your golem after you've created it. So,
You want to read them?
Can I borrow your glasses?
Sure.
Behold, from this energy, O Mother Earth and Father Sky, I fashion a guardian, a protector, and champion. I call you into being, O guardian. I call you forth. I imbue you with energy and will, and I give you form. May you take this form. May you animate this form. May it be my key to you, O guardian. When I'm ad-libbing, I'm never that poetic, so it is beautiful. And then you can charge your guardian and say something like, "Oh, guardian, I charge you to protect me and mine from all harm, shield us from negativity, stand with us and aid us against any dangers and keep us safe and strong, protect us in our home and away from home, be alert to all dangers and avert them. And when we no longer have need of you and no longer make offerings to you, return to the goddess and let her guide you forward. We thank you, O guardian, and offer you our love and respect. May the blessing be upon you, beloved guardian." And that's just a reminder that if you've created it for a specific purpose and then you don't intend to have that guardian all the time, that you either at the end of the purpose, thank the guardian, offering, send him on his way, or you can state it at the beginning of the purpose. Once I return home, I and no longer have need, return to the goddess. So you can do it either as you're calling forth the guardian, the golem, or when the purpose has been, like, if I come home from vacation, I know that once I'm home from vacation, I don't need the golem to protect me on that trip. But if you're looking for something, then you're going to wait until you find that object. That object's been found, and then you would release the golem and send the golem back to the goddess. So, and keep, if it takes a while, remember to keep making your offerings, your periodic offerings to the golem, and thanking the golem for the golem's service. Respect the golem. I respect my little Shrek.
And my Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Yeah. Now I think that's anyone else? Janet. Okay.
So I hope that answers everybody's questions about how to create a golem and what they're used for. And you can always contact us through Lord Phoenix or Alyssa, Lady Alyssa. Any additional questions? Not sure how this works.
You've never done this before.
Here we are. Chris Copeland, as soon as you are ready, you can say goodbye.
Okay.
I will close it. Okay. Well, thank you, Chris.
That solves that question.
Everybody for joining us today and for your kind attention.
And we hope to see some of you at least this weekend.
Yes. Safe travels to and from Philadelphia. Have a good rest of your day.